Declaring that half of humanity is living in a danger zone, United Nations Inter-Governmental Panel report has come up with alarming data that indicates that by the middle of the century, around 35 million people in India could face annual coastal flooding. The report, titled Climate Change 2022, Impacts, Adaptation and Vulnerability, and has categorized India as one of the most vulnerable countries globally. The report forecasts that Mumbai is at high risk of severe flooding and sea level rise, and cities like Chennai, Bhubaneshwar, Patna and Lucknow are approaching dangerous levels of heat.
Yes, absolutely. Now, this is extremely important points that this report does highlight. Now, just quickly, IPCC is essentially a global body of scientists that makes periodic reviews of climate science and gives out these kind of reports on climate change and its impact. Just to take you through what the report says, this is specifically for India. 35 million people could face annual coastal flooding. 45 to 50 million are at risk by the end of the century if the emissions continue to be high. Now, specifically as far as Mumbai is concerned, it is at high risk of severe flooding. Sea levels could rise and that could cause severe flooding. In fact, Ahmedabad is also an area where there could be a serious case of urban heat as well, which it could face. Chennai, Bhubaneshwar, Patna, Lucknow are all heading towards extreme heat. So we could see temperatures rapidly rising in the coming years. The heat levels in cities rising to thresholds beyond human tolerance. This is what the report says, extremely alarming as well. Urban India, of course, is at greater risk than the other areas by 2050. And urbanization essentially could rise from 35% to 40% in the next 15 years. We've already seen urbanization sort of increasing over the last several years. That is expected to further go up going forward. So all in all, these are some serious red flags that needs to be taken cognizance of.
What is alarming in this report is that the time is running out. We have only about next 10 to 15 years to fix the problems. Otherwise, we will also be reaching the limits of adaptation. Beyond this, we will not be able to even adapt. And that is something that this report is very, very strongly bringing it out, that a time action is now. We need to put our act together and act against the climate change. Cities like Mumbai, Calcutta, Chennai, Goa, Visakhapatnam, these are cities which are on the coast, and because of global warming, the ocean has warmed up to about 0.8 degree. That means the ocean is more warmer and it is activating the water cycle. What is it doing? It is leading to what we call the cyclones. So the severity of cyclone and the frequency of cyclone are going to increase manifold. The sea level rise is going to contaminate our water bodies. The water bodies are going to be saline. So cities are at much greater risk because one is the larger population that it has. Second is that increased climate risk is going to hit them. So restoring blue infrastructure is very, very important. Second is about green infrastructure. Cities can grow and can also be green. So that is something that we need to really work upon. Third part, which is very important, is about climate resilient infrastructure, because cities are going to be under much more climate stress situation. All our climate development project, infrastructure project must scan through the climate projections that we have. So they must confer to the changes that is happening, and then our infrastructure has to be built in.